Welcome to the Extraordinary Everyday Podcast, where women come to be inspired and motivated to become the best version of themselves and elevate the quality of their everyday. Now, here's your host, certified life coach, Wendy Johnson.
Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to the Extraordinary Everyday. I'm your host, Wendy, and today we're diving into something we all experience but don't always feel prepared for: life transitions. Some changes are exciting: starting a new job, moving to a new place, or entering a new stage of life. But others are deeply challenging, like losing a loved one, going through a health crisis, or facing an unexpected career change. No matter what kind of transition you're facing, they all share one thing in common. They shake up the familiar and ask us to grow in ways we might not have chosen for ourselves. In this episode, we'll explore why transitions feel so difficult and the types of emotions that come with them, the different types of transitions and the unique challenges that each transition brings. Also, we'll talk about key strategies to navigate change with confidence, resilience, and grace. And I'll include personal stories, both my own and from clients and friends, about the growth that occurred during their transitions. If you're in the middle of a transition right now, or you want to be better prepared for future changes, this episode is for you. Let's get started. Transitions, whether big or small, disrupt our sense of stability. They can bring uncertainty, loss, and even identity shifts that make us feel a little bit confused. Some transitions are planned, like retirement or moving to a new home. But others, like losing a loved one or facing a serious illness, are unexpected and bring grief and fear and a lack of control that can be overwhelming. I want to give you some types of transitions and why they're challenging. The first one is loss of a loved one. Grief changes everything. Your daily routine shifts. A sense of security that you've had may be shaken. Life as you knew it feels forever different. The hardest part, learning how to move forward while carrying that loss with you and feeling that terrible grief. Another type of transition is a health challenge, like going through cancer treatments. Facing a major illness isn't just physically demanding, it's emotionally exhausting. Treatments like chemo and radiation can take a toll on us physically and emotionally. And the uncertainty of the health outcome can make planning for the future feel impossible. You're living day by day, moment by moment. Another type of transition is retirement. And this should be a joyful time, right? But for many, it brings a loss of purpose and routine. Without a structured work life, people can struggle with feelings of being isolated or having a lack of direction. Another type of transition is a career change, whether voluntary or not. Job transitions can trigger fears about your finances, your identity, and your self-worth. Who am I without this title? Will I succeed in the next chapter? In our country right now, a lot of companies are calling people back to work. They will no longer be working from home. This is a huge adjustment. So if you're one of those people, please stay tuned. You may have some fear going on right now, but everything works out for a reason. Another transition is moving to a new place, leaving behind the familiar friends, routines, and a sense of belonging can be a little disorienting, even if the move is exciting to you. I remember when I graduated from college and moved to another state alone for a job. It was a positive change. I was excited for the adventure, but it was also incredibly difficult. I had left my friends and my partner, and I was taking on a new job and a new role, and I didn't know anybody. Plus, the city was so unfamiliar, I didn't know how to get around. I questioned whether I made the right choice. But over time, I adapted, I grew, and I found community, new routines, and gained confidence in navigating this new life on my own. Transitions are tough because they challenge our sense of identity and stability, but they also offer an opportunity to grow in ways we never dreamed of. Next, I want to talk about the three phases of transition. William Bridges has a model of transition and breaks it down into three phases. The first phase is the ending, and that's letting go of the old, whether it's a job, a role, a home, or a person. This phase often involves grief, nostalgia, or fear of the unknown. When I drove away in my U-Haul, leaving the life I had known for 5 years, I cried hysterically. I was so sad. But at the same time, I knew I was ready for this next adventure. So there's a lot of emotions that come up. I did the same thing when I was dropping my son off for college in Colorado, and I was driving home and I was pulled over by a police officer because I was sobbing so hard and they didn't think I should be driving. I was an emotional mess, and yes, I should have not been driving. I had some reassurance because he too had children who were in high school and college and knew what I was going through. So no ticket was written, just a warning that I shouldn't be driving while I'm crying. The next transition phase is the neutral zone. The messy middle is what it's called. The old is gone, but the new hasn't fully formed yet. This is the uncomfortable stage, but also where the personal growth happens. And the last phase is the new beginning. Slowly, a new normal emerges. With time and intention, you begin to have clarity, replacing your uncertainty. Let me give you a story. I worked with a client who had just retired. She had looked forward to retirement for years, but quickly found herself watching excessive TV and avoiding new social opportunities. She wasn't meeting new people or finding ways to stay engaged. She realized she needed to reinvent herself and create a new structure. We worked on small steps for her to join local groups, take on a part-time passion project, and find ways to contribute to her community. Slowly, she built a new identity that was beyond the career she had known. She was in love with her life and loved being retired. Transitions can feel scary because the middle phase, this neutral zone, can feel like you're free falling. But this space is where the reinvention happens. Now, I want to give you strategies for navigating transitions with grace. Using these strategies can help you navigate change with a little more ease. First, you want to acknowledge and process your emotions. You're going to have a lot of emotions coming up. Big emotions: grief, fear, excitement, uncertainty. Rather than pushing them away, allow yourself to feel them and name them. You can talk to someone, journal, or give yourself space to feel without judging. Second, you want to stay flexible and adapt your plans. If you're being rigid, your transition is going to be much harder. When facing an uncertainty, remind yourself if it's okay if things don't go exactly as planned. Adapting to the moment allows you to move forward without breaking down under stress. Third, you want to focus on what you can control. You may not control what's happening, but you can control your mindset, your response to change, and small daily actions that keep you moving forward. Fourth, you want to build stability through small rituals. These are going to help you transition through your days. When everything feels uncertain, anchor yourself with small rituals. Morning coffee, a gratitude journal, a daily walk, going to bed at a regular time every evening. These small habits create a sense of normalcy. And last, you want to prioritize your well-being. Especially in a transition, self-care is not optional. It's essential. If you're going through a tough time, ask, am I getting enough rest? Am I nourishing my body? Am I moving my body? Maybe what I'm going through is so emotionally draining that I need to build in time to take a nap. Be sure to listen to what your body is telling you. Let me give you an example. When my client was struggling post-retirement, we focused on moving her body daily, connecting with others, and finding joy in small activities. Slowly, her energy and motivation returned. She wasn't sitting idle, hoping that change was going to happen. And this one is a biggie. The beauty is in the in-between. Often we want to rush through a transition, eager to reach that new normal, to get to the other side. But the in-between is where we grow the most. Instead of resisting, what if we were to embrace our transitions as invitations to explore new ways of being and new possibilities? And I want to close with this thought. Change isn't always easy, but it always holds something valuable for us. Every transition, no matter how challenging, carries an opportunity to rediscover yourself. Thank you for joining me on The Extraordinary Everyday. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Send me a message, share this with a friend, or leave a review. And remember, transitions don't have to break you. They can be the very thing that shapes you into who you're meant to become. Thank you for being here, friends. Until next time, keep embracing the extraordinary in your everyday life. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, you have to come check out More You, my community of like-minded women. We show up to create the highest version of ourselves and elevate the quality of our everyday along the way. Head over to ontracklifecoaching.com/join. That's ontraclifecoaching.com/join. I'd love to see you in there. And if you haven't grabbed your copy of the Mindset Makeover, head over to ontracklifecoaching.com/makeover and get a copy that teaches and inspires you to show up as your most extraordinary self.